Good evening, volleyball fans, from the George Ball Court at the Sherwood Center at Whitman College here in Walla Walla, Washington, for tonight's Northwest Conference match between the host Whitman College Blues and the visiting Pacific Lutheran University Lutes. The Blues and the Lutes are currently standing at third and fourth in the Northwest Conference. The Lutes with a conference record of 5-2, the Blues with a conference record of 4-3. Both teams coming off tough losses last night. The Lutes falling in Spokane to Whitworth, conference co-leading Whitworth, and the Blues falling to conference co-leader UPS last night. So both those teams have moved to 7-0, and we have the Blues and the Lutes here battling out tonight for that third place slot. Pretty comparable statistically on the sheet. Not seeing quite as overwhelming an attack from the Lutes as we were seeing from UPS last night. They have three attackers, both with marking up 100-plus kills so far this season. Alexis Eggert, Julissa Pernsteiner, and Shayla Allen-Greggs. Whitman with only one 100-kill-plus attacker in Irina Gushina, but Addie Belt, first year, sitting right at 99 kills. But as a team, pretty comparable. Both teams averaging right around 11 kills per set. Whitman hitting 145. And PLU hitting 151, so should be statistically a nice close matchup tonight between these two teams. Excited to see how it plays out. Mostly the same lineup for Coach Helm on the Blues side of the roster tonight. We'll have Jamie Bartok, senior, in the libero jersey, joined by senior Lily Thompson, first-year Sammy Homer, first-year Addie Belt, first-year Irina Gushina, first-year Kendall Harmon, and then Malia Ferraro will step in at the setter position, giving Haley Pruce a rest tonight in that starting role, but I'm sure we're going to see Haley off the bench. On the Lute side of the roster, Macy Matsushima, number 2, the sophomore from Honolulu, will wear the libero jersey. We're joined by sophomore Era Takamoto, junior Alexis Eggert, first year Mary Magoon, junior Savannah Coliato, senior Haley Goto, and junior Shayla Allen-Greggs. Blues, of course, are coached by Matt Helm and assisted by Gwen Dildine. And the Lutes are coached by Kevin Aoki, joined by assistant coaches Rusty Carlson, Kylie Cooley, Haley Hetzler, and Darren Aoki. I'm Jake Ratulis, and I'm excited to bring you the action tonight here on Flow Sports as we get ready to kick off another Northwest Conference match. The ref blows the whistle. We'll see the teams shake hands and get ready for the battle tonight. Last night was the first really sustained level of action we've seen a setter other than Haley Pruce on the court for the Blues. Haley did play, but spelled at times by Ferraro and also by first-year Moana Massey. So Matt Helm spreading the setting load around a little bit. Ferraro really stepped in nicely. Kind of calmed the Blues down. Blues were able to take one set off of UPS last night and fought really close in that fourth set. So hopeful to see the continued evolution of some of these younger players really stepping up, although Ferraro is a junior, so she's got plenty of experience under her belt. Final huddles for the team. Okay, teams break huddles. Final checks from the officials. Looking at the rosters in the rotation, making sure all the jersey numbers match up. And we'll be ready for action momentarily. All right, for that first rotation, we see Lily Thompson take a seat while Jamie Bartok checks in the sky blue libero jersey tonight. First year Sammy Homer will step back to serve first for the Blues. Sammy with that distinctive punishing slap of the ball before she serves. And we're ready for play. Homer drops it deep to Matsushima. Setting the big left side. Nicely fielded there by Bartok. A nice quick attack there from first year Kendall Herman. Nice set by Ferraro. Really well executed there by the Whitman defense. Great first pass. Getting the ball right to the setter and good communication. Point to Whitman. Big swing deflected by the Whitman wall. Setting the left side, Gushina, who drives it into the Lute wall and down for the point. Blues take an early 2-0 lead as Homer goes back to serve again. Really nice start here for the Whitman attack. Another aggressive serve from Homer. That roll attack almost catches Whitman off guard, but nice scramble there. Gushina gets the ball over, keeping the point alive. Big number 22, Goto for the Lutes. Sends her attack long, not touched by the Whitman wall. It's another point to the Blues, who are off to a 3-0 lead. Really nice to see the Blues start with this momentum after they got punched in the gut by the Loggers last night in their first game. Really big block there by the left side. Gushina and Herman rejecting that Lute attack from Mary Magoon. Right back down into the Lutes court, and it's a 4-0 lead for Whitman. Homer drives another hard serve, unable to be dug by Matsushima. Coach Aoki can't be thrilled with this start. Matt Helm has to be really happy with how the Blues are starting things off with a 5-0 lead on Homer's serve here. That serve sails just past the end line. Tough break there. That was a close one, but it's side out to the Lutes now. And libero Macy Matsushima will be back to serve, trailing 1-5. Back set there from Ferraro to the big left arm of Addie Belt. He does the job off of the Lute blockers and down for another Whitman side out. Jamie Bardock will be back to serve now for Whitman. Now leading 6-1. Bardock drops one in behind the front line. Oh boy, Bartok lets that go. That was a tough one to judge. Just catches the sideline for a side out to the Lutes. Nice swing there by PLU. Is the serve in. That's Bailey Johnson Jr. is subbed in for the Lutes. Again, nice play there, side out for the Blues. As Addie Belt's back to serve now. Blues leading 7-2. Big attack there from Alexis Eggert, Jr. out of Missoula, Montana. Unable to be dug out by the Whitman defenders. And it's side out to the Lutes. Number 4, Jatem Payo, first year out of Hawaii, Kanoa, Hawaii. Back to serve for PLU, down 7-3 right now. 4-point trailers to the Blues. Ferraro sets Gushina on the left side, gets a great swing on it. It's up into the rafters. And the Lutes unable to scramble and get that ball back. It's a quick side out back to Whitman. Now leading 8-3. And Arena Gushina now. Sophomore out of Woodinville back to serve for Whitman. Gushina drives the deep cross-court serve. The big attack from Eggert is dug nicely. Attack back there. Sammy Homer, that attack from the Lutes off the Whitman wall and out of bounds. Nice swing there by the Lutes attacking, and they get the side out. They're trailing now 4 as Eggert's back to serve for PLU. Ticks off the net, but well fielded by Gushina. Sets up the swing. Sheena digs to Ferraro, setting up Sammy Holmer. Sammy cross-court attack is dug. Oh, but miscommunication there by the Lutes, and they let that first pass fall to the floor. A little you got it play there. And the Blues take the side out back. Some subs coming in. Lexi Uchima coming in for the first time to serve for the Blues. Uchima drives the ball deep again. Nice attack there by Bernsteiner, but it's deflected off the Whitman wall. Big attack by Sammy Holmer on the left side, off the Lute wall, down to the court for the Whitman point. And we're going to see a timeout here for the Lutes, trailing 10-4. Really solid play here by the Blues in the early going of set one as they lead 10-4. This is what you really hope to see from the team after last night's tough match against UPS. Really, a couple of those sets were not as competitive as you'd like on the scoreboard. You saw UPS go on some long runs. I'm sure Coach Helm feels good about being on the other side of that here in the first set of this one. The Blues doing lots of things right, getting their attacks in system, passing the ball really well, getting the ball in the hands of Ferraro to set her attackers up. Blues also defending nicely. Lutes also getting some good swings on the ball, but the Blues have done a really nice job of digging out some of those attacks that have landed. So we'll hope to see that continue for Whitman. As the teams return to the court, the horn sounds and the refs are signaling ready to play. As Lexi Uchima's back to serve again for the Blues, first year out of Hilo, Hawaii. She drops that one just over the net. Set to Bernsteiner on the left side. Dug out nicely by Whitman. Holmer with a little roll attack just over the wall. Drops it beautifully in front of the Lute back line. Good use of the finesse ball there from Sammy. As Lexi will be back to serve again. Blues now up 11-4. That's a tough break for the Lutes. The ball catches the tape at the top of the net and just kind of trickles over unwittingly in the back of Air Takamoto. He doesn't see it happening and it falls to the floor behind her. Lucky break there for the Blues, but we'll take it. They're now leading by 8, 12-4. That pass a little awkward from PLU. Free ball coming over for Whitman. That swing from Kendall Herman goes a bit awry, not off the Lute wall, side out to Whitman, or side out to PLU, excuse me. The setter, Air Takamoto, will be back to serve for the Lutes. Sophomore out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Drives the jump serve well past the end line. Service error results in a side out back to the Blues. And Malia Ferraro will be back to serve for Whitman. Blues now leading by 8, 13-5. Ferraro returns the favor with a service error of her own. Side out back to PLU. Double sub for PLU. As Coliato and Alan Greggs return to the game. Coliato will be back to serve now, trailing by 7. And another service error here as the serves have left the building momentarily. The Blues side out and back to rotation one as Sammy Holmer is back to serve again. Now leading by 8, 14-6. Big serve by Sammy, dug by Matsushima. Really nice attack there, dug by Bartok. Return pass to Kushina. Attack coming back to Whitman. Nice dig there by Matsushima again. Free ball coming to, oh, that ball sails just past the end line. That's a tough break for the Blues. There's a little bit of scrappy point on both sides of the net there. Neither team really getting what they wanted in system, and a bit of an exchange back and forth as it's side out to PLU and Matsushima to serve. Good dig there by Sammy. Set to the right side where Belt just rolls the ball over. That swing by number 11, Alexis Eggert, off the net and out of bounds, untouched by Whitman, so that's a side out to the Blues. We'll see a sub here where Lily Thompson will return. Lexi Uchima will take a break. And libero Jamie Bartok back to serve for Whitman. Fortunately, I was looking away. I missed the call there, but the call is the point in favor of the Lutes. Big swing there by Lily Thompson, but it hits the net tape, taking some of the pace off. Wow, the Blues wall puts a roof on that one. Addie Belt and Lily Thompson up to reject the Lutes attack. That one was not welcome, and the side out to Whitman. The first-year Addie back to serve with the left arm. Stuffed by Gushina as that pass sailed a little close to the net for the Lutes, and it's a point to the Blues, now leading 17-8. 9-point lead here in the late part of the first set as Addie Belt is ready to score again, ready to serve again. Coach Helm has a question for the referee. Awkward pass there from Lutz. Good deflection there by the wall. Little confusion there on the Whitman side, but they get the ball back across. Team's big swing there from Shayla Allen-Greggs on the left side of the Lute wall to put that ball away for the Lutes. Another double sub here as Pernsteiner and Jatem Payo return to the lineup for PLU, and they take the side out. Payo will be back to serve for the Lutes, trailing by 8. Deep serve, fielded by Holmer. The set to Gushina, who drives that down the line off the Lute player and out of bounds. Another successful attack here for the Whitman front line. He's really swinging well at the ball, and Gushina now back to serve with a 9-point lead for the Blues. Another awkward pass there on the receive. Bell to Ferraro to the running Lily Thompson. She flicks it down, but it's dug nicely by PLU. The Whitman blockers put the wall up again. And good defensive play. Results. There's some confusion back and forth as to whose point that was, but it looks like it is Whitman point. There's some conversation about who last touched the ball before went out of bounds. PLU believes that was an out of bound off a Whitman touch. Coach Aoki also out to have a conversation. They'll pause to consult about it. There was a lot of back and forth there, several exchanges of blocks and tips. The ball sailed out on the far side of the court, questioned as to whether or not it was touched by a Whitman defender before it landed out of bounds. The call went in Whitman's favor. Obviously, Coach Aoki in disagreement with that. So we have a slight pause in the action. No instant replay available here in D3, so we will return to play. And we have a timeout called here by PLU. They want to talk about it now, down 10. And the teams will huddle up here in the late going of the first set. Coach Helm giving Ferraro some pointers, some guidance, a little back and forth. Malia's played really, really well last night and tonight. Seeing lots of good action. All right, we have a look at the statistics so far in the first set. Whitman leading on the attacking side, 8-5. The best part, only a single hitting error for Whitman, and the kills are really well dispersed. 2 each for Sammy Homer, Addie Belt, and Arena Gushina. Also 1 kill registered each for Ferraro and for Kendall Herman. 8 assists, 7 of them going, of course, to Ferraro. And 11 digs on the Whitman side of the roster so far. PLU 5 kills against 4 errors. So the Blues hitting 368 so far in the first set. The Lutes hitting 042. That explains a lot of that score discrepancy so far in the first set. As we're ready to return to play, Gushina back to serve for the Blues as the horn sounds. And we just await the referee's whistle, and here we're ready for play. Gushina going to that sort of standing set serve. Set to the left side of the Lute attack, but it's dug nicely by Whitman. Set to Sammy Homer, dug by Matsushima on the PLU side. Another big swing there by Pernsteiner, blocked by the Whitman wall. Another attack rejected by the Whitman blockers. Pernsteiner going to swing again, and that ball does not make it over the net. And the Blues 20-9. Really nice defensive effort there by the right side of the Whitman front. Lily Thompson up there, Ferraro up there, Belt up there. Really nice work defending against the PLU attack. Gushina drops another serve deep cross court. That set goes deep. Oh, but it kind of fools the Whitman defenders that it drops just over the head of Lily Thompson and in front of the Whitman back line for a side out to the Lutes now, where junior Alexis Eggert will be back to serve, trailing by 10. Oh no, miscommunication there by Gushina and Belt, as they disagree on who's going to receive that serve, and it just falls to the floor between them. It's 11-20, serving 20 now for PLU, down 9, and that service error into the net will give the ball back to Whitman now. Side out, double substitution. Lexi Uchima returns to the lineup. Kendall Herman returns to the lineup. Lily Thompson and Jamie Bartok will take a seat. And Uchima will be back to serve now with a 10-point lead for the Blues. Pernsteiner uses that finesse attack this time, lofting it over the Whitman wall and dropping it in front of the back line for a side out back to the Lutes. Era Takamoto, sophomore setter, back to serve for PLU. Great pass there on that serve receive. Homer would like to have that swing back. She didn't get it squarely, and I think it may have been rejected more by the net than by the Lutes blockers. And it's a point for the Lutes, who now trail by 8, 21-13. Another nice reception and pass by Gushina. A little flick attack there from Homer. Belt sets Homer again, who swings big cross-court hit, dug out nicely. Now Pernsteiner's attack rejected by the Whitman wall. Great dig by Bartok, but the ball sails backwards. Gushina's unable to track it down and get it back into play. And that's another point now for the Lutes. Matt Helm wants to break this momentum before it gets any more significant here. With the Blues up by 7 now, 21-14. Coach Helm calls the timeout for the Blues. We'll regroup. Smart choice there to use that timeout here. Things aren't getting too nail-bitingly close yet, but when you see that little bit of 2, 3, 4 point swing, it's a great time to just take a deep breath, get everybody regain the focus, and close out this first set. Whitman breaks their huddle, players back to the court. Belt, Bartok, Herman, Homer, Gushina, and Ferraro back on the court for the Blues. Goto, Pernsteiner, Magoon, Payo, and Matsushima back on the court, with Takamoto now serving for the Lutes, down 21-14. Big swing there by Kendall Herman, dug nicely by the Lutz defenders. Excellent dig by Bartok, diving to the floor, and a big swing by Sammy Holmer. Puts the ball down in the center of the back line there for the Lutz, unable to defend it. And it's side out to Whitman. Malia Ferraro now back to serve for Whitman. 8-point leaders here in the late going of the first set. Pernsteiner swinging from the right side, Gushina with the pass. That set goes a little close to the net, but Belt does a nice job to get that ball over. Tough set there. Magoon gets a nice swing on it. I believe that deflected off the Whitman wall. Had no choice there, Belt trying to dive for it to dig it out. Side out to the Lutz, a double substitution now for the Lutz. Savannah Coliato, junior from Hilo, into serve now for the Lutz. Drives the ball deep with Bartok passes to Holmer. And Belt just plays the ball over deep. Good block by the Whitman wall and recovery. Set back to Addie Belt. The left arm, cross-court attack. Magoon goes to the floor for PLU, but unable to dig it. And it's a side out to Whitman. And Sammy Holmer taking it out on the ball once more as she prepares to serve up 8. Driving deep cross-court serve there from Holmer. Big swing by Alan Greggs. Dug nicely by Whitman. We have a contact there with the antenna. And that ball is out of bounds. And it'll be side out to the Lutz. Libero Matsushima back to serve now for PLU, down 7. Received by Holmer. Nice pass to Ferraro, who sets Gushina on the running attack. That one is rejected by the Lutz wall. Comes back to Gushina, but she's unable to control the rebound. And it is a point to the Lutz, who now are down 6, 23-17, as Matsushima is back to serve once more. Gushina swings, pushing that ball deeper into the backcourt. Ferraro runs to get the set. Gushina really nicely identifies the open gap there in the left front of the PLU court and doesn't overswing, places a nicely directed ball down. Excellent job side out and taking the Blues to set point as Uchimi will sub out. And Bartok's back to serve for the Blues. Lily Thompson in for Whitman. Big swing rejected there by the Whitman wall. That swing doesn't make it over the net, and that is set to the Blues. 25-17. Whitman will take the first set, and we will take a break coming back after this. Today's game is being brought to you by Flow College, the essential destination for college conference partners in Division 1, 2, and 3, which packages event live streams and rich editorial content into one accessible product. It's the leader in streaming for Division II and III sports and the #1 provider of women's sports at these levels with more than 9,000 games slated for the 2025-2026 season. With Flow College, subscribers have the most comprehensive and personalized access to select college, conferences, schools, and teams across all leading web, mobile, and connected TV platforms. All right, let's take a look at the final set statistics there for that first set. Whitman 25-17 winners. 11 kills against only 3 errors on the attack for Whitman, hitting 250 on 32 attempts. For the Lutes, 8 kills against 6 errors on 40 total attacks, hitting 050. So really effective and efficient attacking by Whitman, and the Lutes struggling to make their attacks count. Excellent blocking there by the Blues. 17 blocks in that first half. That's the dig column. No, we have the total of 6 blocks there in that first set credited to the Blues against only 1. No blocks credited to the Lutes. 1 blocking error recorded. So interesting statistics there. The assists, 8 assists on the 8 Whitman kills, 5 assists on the 5 Lute kills, of course. All of the assists, 7 of the assists to, I'm looking at the early ones. We got 10 assists there on the Whitman side of the ledger, 8 assists on the PLU side of the ledger. As the horn sounds, the teams return to the court here for second set action. For the Blues, it's the same starters. For the Lutes, trying to see all the jersey numbers. Believe it is also the same starters for PLU. Yes, same lineups both ways. The Lutes will serve first in the second set. Bartok in for Lily Thompson for the first rotation. And the Lutes libero will sub in as well. Just waiting the official. Matsushima checks in for Eggert. As the teams will prepare for action, the ball is tossed to Savannah Coliato, the junior out of Hilo, Hawaii. And she'll be back to serve here to start the second set for the Lutes. Nice pass by Homer. That is an awkwardly low set to Kendall Herman. Unfortunately, the awkwardly played reception there by the back line of PLU probably gets Whitman out of a little jam there, and it's side out to Whitman for Sammy Homer to serve now. The Blues a 1-point leader. Big cross-court serve from Homer. That attack from Haley Goto goes out wide, and it's a point to the Blues. Big swing there, relatively clean, but Goto tried to be a little too precise on that sideline and missed it just wide. That deflects off the net, tough ball, and it is roofed there by Kendall Herman, who just goes up and flicks the ball to the floor for a second Whitman point here in a row on the serve of Sammy Homer. Whitman up by 3. Good dive by Bartok to dig that attack out. Gushina gets a swing on it, but it's nicely blocked by the right-hand side combination there of Goto and Magoon for the Lutes. As Eggert subs back in for the Lutes. And we've got Matsushima back to serve for PLU, now trailing 1-3. Addie Belt doesn't get down over that ball enough. It sails wide off of her left arm and out of bounds for the PLU point. Matsushima back to serve again, trailing just 1 now, but for the Lutes. Little flick attack by Belt there, just deflects off of the Lute wall, straight up and straight back down. The Lute's unable to scramble and recover. Side out to the Blues, where Bartok is back to serve for Whitman. Nice attack there by the Blues, but sails out of bounds. And it's side out to PLU. Back to serve now is Bailey Johnson, the junior out of Puyallup. Serves to Gushina. Big swing by Lily Thompson there. Nicely deflecting off of the loot wall and out of bounds. Lily doesn't have the most kills on the team, but she's currently Whitman's most efficient attacker, hitting .298 on the season coming into this game. As Addie Belt is back to serve, and that serve is mishandled by the receiving Johnson there on the loot back line. That ball goes backwards instead of forward. Point to the Blues now. 6-3 leaders here in the second set. As Addie Belt serving again. Belt drives it deep to Matsushima. That flick attack is really nicely fielded by Bartok. Thompson tries to flick that into the gap in the back line. Whoops, a little scramble there. Set to the left side. Gushina's attack goes a bit awry, sails wide on the left side, out of the left sideline, and it's a side out to PLU. Double sub for PLU again. Jatem returns to the lineup. She'll take the ball to serve. Now down 2. Homer with a nice pass there. The running swing attack there by senior Lily Thompson again, cleanly to the floor. No one there to resist it, and she finds the open spot for that attack, and it's a side out back to the Blues, where Gushina will serve with a 3-point lead. A little overpass there, flicked over by the loot setter. Sammy Homer gets a nice attack off the loot wall and out of bounds. Point Whitman. Gushina back to serve again. That one sails cross court. Pio wisely watches it sail outside the left sideline there, the right sideline from her perspective. And it is side out to the Lutes, trailing by 3 as Alexis Eggert is serving. Backline hit there from Belt, drives it deep into the fielded nicely. Woo, really nice dig there by Belt. Set across to Homer. Homer on the attack, dug nicely by the loop backline. That's set to Pernsteiner, gets a nice swing on that, but it's dug by Whitman. Sammy Homer with a little finesse attack, tipping it right over the loot wall. Unable to field it out of the loot backline, and that's a side out to the Blues. As we see the double substitution, Kendall Herman returning and Lexi Uchima coming in to serve for the Blues. Holding a 4-point lead now at 9-5. Little scramble there by Whitman, just getting the ball over. There's that running swing attack. Oh, little mess there from Whitman. Unable to corral that ball and control it as much as they would like. Uchima will sub back out. Bartok will sub back in on the side out to PLU. Air Takamoto back to serve for the Lutes. Belt fields that one. Ferraro, that's set close to the net, and the net violation is all right. There was a side out to Whitman there. I missed exactly what was called, unfortunately. Ferraro now back to serve for Whitman now with a 4-point lead. Big swing there from Julissa Pernsteiner, excuse me. She really got all of that ball. Credit to her. Side out to the Lutes. She'll sub out. We've got Savannah Coliato back now to serve for the Lutes, trailing by 3 at 10-7. Bartok puts that to the left side for Sammy Homer, but she's unable to convert the attack. Again, more off the net, I think, than off the Lute wall, and that's a point to the Lutes. As Colliato will serve again. Lutes now down 2, closing the gap here. This is the closest they've been in a while in this second set. There's an effective attack from the left side. Ferraro gets the ball right in the bucket there for Sammy Homer to get a big swing on it. Deflects off of the Lute wall and out of bounds for the Whitman side out. And Homer is back to serve now. He's really effective serving in the first set. So he drives that one deep again. That ball rejected by the Whitman wall. Back to the Lute offense. Deflected off the wall. Good scramble by Whitman here as Gushina tries to put it over, but unfortunately leaves it a little too low, and the Lute wall knocks that down for the side out to PLU. It's 11-9, and Macy Matsushima is back to serve, looking to close that gap more for the Lutes. Matsushima with the service ace. The Blues watched that one thinking it was going to sail long, and it dropped right on the end line. And it's a 1-point match now here in the second set as Matsushima readies to serve again. That one's low and dug out by Homer. Belt drives it into the deep side of the Lute court. Good scramble there, Ferraro to Bartok, setting Gushina on the left side. And her attack nicely in that back right corner of the Lute court for a side out back to Whitman and a 2-point lead again. Double sub there. Bartok serving, Lily Thompson back into the lineup. Bartok drops it into the deep center court. Good block there by the Whitman right side. Set to the left side. The wall unable to get set up there to block that one, and it's not able to be dug there by the Blues defenders. And it's a side out. Lots of back and forth action here in this second set. Good resiliency by the Lutes as Johnson serving again for PLU. Good attack by Gushina, but it's dug. Ooh, the little quick attack there back from the Lutes. Bartok sets Gushina, and she puts it down on the sideline for the successful attack, and it's a side out back to the Blues, stretching it back to a 2-point lead. Her first year, Addie Belt is back to serve with that left arm. Big attack by Eggert there, rejected by the Whitman wall. Beautifully defended there by the Blues as Belt picks up this point on her serve, and she'll go back now with a 3-point lead to serve again. Another low driven serve by Belt. Good dig there on the attack from Alan Greggs. Alan Greggs swings again, rejected by the Whitman wall. Alan Greggs again, and the third attack succeeds. 3 big swings there by Shayla Allen Greggs. Finally able to put one away, and it's a side out back to the Lutes. Tempio back in for PLU, and she'll be back to serve, trailing by 2. Whitman misjudges another deep, soft serve there. And that drops inside the back line. Bartok hoping for the service error, and instead it's a service ace, and it's a 1-point match again as Pio will serve. That one's fielded by Belt. Little awkward set. Thompson forced to just push that over. Oh, and the attempt by Takamoto for the sneak attack there out of the setter position, and she isn't able to get it over the net, and it's a side out back to Whitman. Takes a little deep breath here as they stretch it back to a 2-point lead, and Gushina serves for the Blues. She drops that one short. And that backline swing from libero Matsushima is into the center of the mesh and not over, so it is a point to the Blues as Gushina will serve again. Another serve to the awkward feet there, right? Awkward reception there by Bailey Johnson on the Lute side, and the Lutes will take a timeout. Suddenly the Blues have stretched to a 4-point lead, and Coach Aoki wants to talk about it. Join the Whitman community for 2 exciting days of philanthropy on October 22nd and 23rd for our annual All In campaign. Your support during this campaign goes toward team travel and operations, towards the recruitment of scholar athletes, and everything else that enhances the Blues experience for our Whitman scholar athletes. You can make a gift online. Just go to the website at give.whitman.edu/allin, ALLIN. Please do give and support these student athletes. They are fun to watch, and they bring all of their effort and passion to the floor. As we take a quick look here at the stats through the first set and a half now or so, Whitman now doubling up the Lutes, 24 kills to 12. Hitting errors have climbed a little bit, I think, for the Blues now. 9 hitting errors versus 8 hitting errors for the Lutes. So the Blues not as clean. 6 hitting errors so far here in this second set against only 3 in that first set. So I'm sure wanting to see that get cleaned up a little bit as the teams come back on the court. Kushina still serving for the Blues here when we return to play. Again, the Blues leading 17-13. The late stages of the second set. Sheena takes a little pace off that one, puts it in the deep back corner. Big swing by Perlsteiner there. Pernsteiner, excuse me. A scramble here by the Lutes. Pernsteiner with a little flick attack, but it's rejected by the Whitman wall. Pernsteiner going to swing again. Again tries to flick it over the wall. Nicely fielded there by Homer. Quick sneak attack by Ferraro. A little exchange back and forth. There we go. Nice attack down the line by Sammy Homer. Deflects off a couple of Lute players, but neither of them is able to control. And it's another point for the Blues. Lots of back and forth on that one here, as we are now a 5-point lead for Whitman, 18-13. Kushina now serving again for Whitman. Fielded by Pio. Free ball coming over for Whitman. Back set to Lily Thompson, rejected by PLU, but dug out by Whitman. Homer will swing again. She puts the attack cross court. The little flick back from PLU gives Whitman another chance in system, and Sammy Homer rises to the occasion. Beautiful set there from Ferraro, just off the net tape, and Homer puts it down on the cross court attack. It's a 6-point lead now for the Blues, 19-13, as Gushina serves yet again. Once more driving it deep, and that pass is overhit from Pio, but the Lutes scramble and get it back. That pass is overhit by the Blues. Lots of scrambling here going on. The Blues regain control. A little quick attack from Lily Thompson. Finally, a big swing there from Alexis Eggert on the PLU side of the net, is able to put an attack away. And the Lutes break the streak there, take the side out. They're trailing by 4, and Eggert will go back to serve for PLU. A little bit of a scrappy point there. Belt, nice bow, quick flick across from Ferraro, but the Lutes see that one and recover. Good deflection by the Whitman wall. Thompson tries to put it down, but it's dug by PLU. Nice setup for Homer, and it is off the Lute wall and out of bounds for another point to the Blues, and the side out. It's now a 6-point lead, and the Blues serve as Lexi Uchima returns to the lineup to serve. Kendall Herman returns as well, as Bartok and Thompson take a seat. Served by Uchima down the line. A little rolling swing attack. I believe that was off Kendall Herman's noggin rather than her hand, unfortunately, and it's a side out to PLU. As Takamoto back to serve now for PLU, trailing by 5. I'm not sure what happened there. She, a little bit of a false start, ends up as a service error. Not sure what caused that little interruption on her service, but Coach Helm, quick conversation with the umpire asking about rotational. Had to double check what rotation we're in. A little confusion of who's where and who's serving. Ferraro now back to serve for the Blues. 6-point leaders after that service error. Big swing from Pernsteiner. Oh. I think somebody may have bonked somebody in the nose there. We may be seeing a few stars and chuckles amongst the Whitman front line, but it's a side out to PLU. And Savannah Coliato back to serve, trailing 5 now, 21-16. Blues lead. Ferraro back set to Holmer, but that's rejected by the combo of Haley Goto and Shayla Allen Greggs on the left side there of the Lute front line. Really nicely defended there by PLU as they take a point here on the serve of Coliato. Set to Addie Belt on the left side, dug by the Lutes. Big swing by Griggs, probably sailing long, but Kushina just had to react to it. Belt a big swing, that sails long. She wants a touch by the front line of the Lutes, but isn't going to get it. And Coach Helm will take a timeout as the Lutes have closed it to a 3-point game now at 21-18. And Whitman coach wants to talk about it as we take a breather here. Make sure to visit www.whitmanblues.com for all your up-to-date information on Whitman athletics, including current team schedules and student-athlete features. Also follow Whitman Athletics on the social media site formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. This is the third match of a triple header between Whitman and PLU today. The men's and women's soccer teams both played earlier today. And I had the results here, and it was the men ended up in a 1-1 draw with PLU, and the Blues women fell 2-1 to PLU this afternoon in women's soccer. Tomorrow, the men's and women's soccer team take on UPS, so make sure to check that out. And then the Blues are on the road next weekend in volleyball for more Northwest Conference action. We'll be ready for that. We'll talk about games and times later as the teams return to the court and are ready to resume play here in the late stages of the second set. Just to bring you up to speed, the Blues up 3, 21-18. The Lutes serving. Junior Savannah Coliato puts the ball into play, but it sails well long. And another service error. Sure, that's not what Coach Aoki wanted out of the timeout. And the Blues will side out, take the 4-point lead now, and Holmer is back to serve for Whitman. Homer's really been driving that serve deep and to awkward positions. PLU, big attack there by first-year Kendall Herman. Gets a big swing on that. Puts it away off the Lute wall. And PLU's going to take a timeout as they're now down 5 within 2 points here of the dropping the second set. Coach Aoki wants to talk about it. You don't get any credit for those timeouts if you leave them on the table, so absolutely a good call to take that timeout and talk about it with his team. Our many thanks to the W Club for its support of our Whitman student athletes and athletics programs. The W Club exists to enhance excellence in varsity athletics and the student athlete experience, as well as help fund assistant coaches, international travel, and operating expenses. Head over to www.whitmanblues.com to make a donation or become a W Club member. If you're excited enough to be watching volleyball on a Saturday night, you should be a member of the W Club and supporting these athletes as much as you can. They certainly deserve it. The teams return to the court here, looking to wrap up this second set. Blues 2 points away from taking a 2-0 lead here in the match, as first-year Sammy Holmer is back to serve. Holmer, another one, driving the PLU defender to their knees, trying to receive that serve. Good dig there by Belt. Ferraro scrambles to get the set. A little clever cross-court flick by Kushina, but PLU reads it and digs it. Excellent dig out there by Holmer. Another one by Holmer. A swing by Gushina. Excellent play on defense by both teams here. Shayla Allen-Griggs with the flick just over the Whitman wall. Nicely read there by the Lute attacker. Rather than go with the full swing, she sees the gap behind the Whitman defenders and places the ball there for side out to PLU. As Matsushima's back to serve now, trailing by 4. That comes to Bartok. Back set to Belt. Big swing there off the Lute wall. Belt will swing again, and that one deflects off the Lute wall, but sideways and out of bounds for the Blues point, and it is set point Whitman with Jamie Bartok back to serve. The senior libero has the second set in her hands here. We see Lily Thompson sub back in for Uchima. And Bartok puts it in play. The light attack there from Magoon. Lily Thompson unable to get the swing she wanted on that one. Unfortunately puts the attack into the net, and it's a side out. Back to PLU. 4-point trailers now as Bailey Johnson back to serve for the Lutes. Good receive by Homer. Set across court to Gushina. She tries to lob the deep corner attack, but it sails just wide. That set was. We'll take a break and we'll come back with second set statistics after this. Welcome back to George Ball Court in the Sherwood Center on the College of Whitman campus here in Walla Walla, where through 2 sets of action between the Whitman College Blues and the PLU Lutes, the Blues lead 2 sets to 0, 25-17 in the first set, 25-21 in the second set. After 2 sets now, the Blues continue to dominate on the stat sheet, on the attacking side particularly. The Blues 29 successful kills against 16 for the Lutes. 13 hitting errors for the Blues. That's 10 errors in the second set against only 3 errors in the first set. So the attacking not as clean for the Blues there in the second set, but still effective. Their hitting percentage is down to 198 through 2 sets now. The Lutes up just a little bit, hitting 086. I believe they were hitting 050 earlier. 16 kills against 9 hitting errors on 81 total attacks. Both teams on 81 attacks total. Lots of effective assisting, 24 assists for the Blues, split among 5 different players. Obviously, most falling to Malia Ferraro, the setter, 17 of those 24 assists. But Bartok, Homer, Belt, and Herman all credited with assists in that through the first 2 sets. 4 service aces for the Blues, 3 for the Lutes, leading 4-3. Diggs, the Whitman defenders, doing a great job. 40 digs, really dispersed out. Of course, Bartok with 9 as the libero, not surprising. Addie Belt also credited with 8 digs as well. So really nice work by the Blues defenders. 29 total digs for the Lutes. As the teams return from their locker room breaks here after set 2, ready to resume action here shortly. Today's game is being brought to you by Flow College, the essential destination for college conference partners in Division 1, 2, and 3, which packages event, live streams, and rich editorial content into one accessible product. It is the leader in streaming for Division 2 and 3 sports and the #1 provider of women's sports at these levels, with more than 9,000 games slated for the 2025-2026 season. With Flow College, subscribers have the most comprehensive and personalized access to select college conferences, schools, and teams across all leading web, mobile, and connected TV applications. The Lutes return to the court. Looks like the same starting lineup again. And the Blues, also their same starters as well. So very consistent play here for both teams. Final huddle amongst the players as the clock ticks down to 0. We wait for those last start of set substitutions. The ref checks the rotations, squares everybody away, and clears Matsushima to sub in. And Alexis Eggert to the sideline for the Lutes. Meanwhile, on the Blues side, checking all the rotational positions here, and Bartok cleared to sub in for senior Lily Thompson. With all the administrative matters out of the way, the ref claims the game ball back. And Sammy Homer will be back to put the ball in play to open the 3rd set for the Blues. Leading 2-0. Blues would love to put this away in straight sets. As Homer drives it deep cross court again. Big attack by Pernsteiner, rejected by Kendall Herman in the middle of that Whitman front line. And it's a point to the Blues. Homer to serve again. Big swing there by Alan Griggs, dug nicely by the Whitman defenders, who get the ball back over. Another set to Alan Griggs, who lobs it over the Whitman front line, and it drops just inside that sideline. Really nice roll attack there from Shayla Alan Griggs. Eggert returns to the lineup for the Lutes, and Matsushima's back to serve as it's 1-1 in the 3rd set. The setup for Addie Belt there, who gets all of that attack. Drives it deep into the corner and off the Lute defender. Unable to control the pace of that ball, and Bartok will go back to serve now, leading 2-1. She drops that little sneaky serve in. The Lute's unable to handle that. Pass by Colliato off the net. And the Lute front line unable to get the ball back up and into play, and Bartok serves again. This one more pace. The big cross-court attack into the rafters. Homer gets it. Gushina puts the ball across, a little sneaky sidewinder, and overpass is rejected there by Lily Thompson. Down into the open gap at the back line. And it's 4-1 Blues with Bartok back to serve once more. That attack by the Lutes off the antenna, out of play, and that's another point for Whitman, as Bartok will serve again. Conversation here between the official and Matsushima. And we're waiting for play to be resumed, and the whistle blows, and we're ready for service. Another awkward pass there by the Lute receiving team, and it is roofed by Lily Thompson there on the left side of the front line. Kushina also probably had a hand on that. Well defended by Whitman. Bartok serving now with a 5-point lead for the Blues, 6-1. She drops this one with a little more finesse into the center. Big swing by the Lutes, rejected by the Whitman front line. That one dug nicely by Kushina. Ferraro setting Arena back up, and that attack is deflected by the Lute blockers and out of bounds for another point to Whitman. And we have a nice streak here, and that forces Coach Aoki to take a timeout for the Lutes, as the Blues take a 7-1 lead here in this third set. Could be decisive if the Blues keep this up. Make sure to join the Whitman community for 2 exciting days of philanthropy on October 22nd and 23rd. That's coming up in less than 2 weeks for our annual All In campaign. Your support during this campaign goes toward team travel and operations, toward the recruitment of scholar athletes, toward everything else that enhances the Blues experience for Whitman scholar athletes. You can easily log in to make a gift online at give.whitman.edu/all-in. And if you're in Walla Walla, look for exciting programs locally. I know there will be one at Quirk Brewing here in town on the 23rd, because I will be helping to run that operation. So if you like cold beer and you like supporting Whitman sports, assuming you're of age and legal to drink such things, please come out to Quirk Brewing on the 23rd. And look to the Whitman website for other opportunities to support the Blues during the All-In campaign. As the timeout here winds to a close, really nice momentum for the Blues in this third set. Stretching it out to a 7-1 lead, largely here on Bartok's serve. She's kept them guessing. The pace is varied, the positioning is varied. She does a really nice job of starting the point off with some awkward receipt by this one comes to Shayla Allen-Greggs, and again, it's not exactly the cleanest, but a nice, wow, excellent dive by Bartok to dig that attack out as Allen-Greggs put that ball hard and deep. But here's the Bartok back sets to Kushina. She gets a swing on it off the Lute wall. That attack is rejected by Kushina and Thompson. It's deflected back off the Lute attacker and out of bounds for yet another Blues point. Really nice sustained attacking there by Whitman. And some really nice defense. Boy, that one attack from Allen-Greggs was dug beautifully on the back line by Bartok. That serve falls short. Another rejection, this time by Belt and Thompson. That attack gets around, but Bartok to the floor to dig it out. Kushina flicks one to the back line. Now the flick attack again. Bartok to the floor. Just outstanding defense from her this game. Allen-Greggs, and now we see Ferraro to the floor. Belt with a cross-court attack. Pernsteiner mishits that one. Absolutely sustained, solid play on both offense and defense from the Blues in that point. Jamie Bartok just diving to the floor with regularity to dig those attacks out. That serve sails just long, breaking her stranglehold on the last few minutes of this game. And it's a side out to the Lutes now, 9-2. As Bailey Johnson back to serve for PLU. Wow, setting up Addie Belt there on the right side, who gets all of that big left arm into that one again, and down to the court, cross-court attack, untouched. And Belt will be back to serve now with a 10-2 lead for the Blues. That attack from the Lute hits the antenna, out of play, and that's another point for Whitman on Belt's serve. Lute's attacker trying to finesse that around Coach Aoki calls for a quick substitution here, as Freer will check in for Takamoto. And Belt to serve one more time, now leading 11-2. Good cross court. Good action on that ball. The Blues wall on the left side again. Gushina, I think, was all of that one. Lily Thompson there as well, but I think that was all arena. Just solid defense here by Whitman in this third set. Belt to serve again. That one is called just long by the linesman. That one had a lot of pace on it, but just sailed past the end line, and it's a side out to the Lutes. Couple of substitutions in, and Jitem Payo is back to serve. First year from Kanoe, Hawaii. I probably mangled that Hawaiian town, and I apologize to the citizens of Hawaii. All right, Sammy Homer on the pass, the set to Gushina. She puts that little finesse cross-court attack, deflects awkwardly off of the Lute defender for the successful kill. Side out to Whitman, and Gushina will serve. Good cross-court serve by Gushina. Flicked over, free ball here for Whitman. Oh, the miscommunication there. But Thompson gets the ball over. Deflected off the Whitman wall, nicely fielded by Belt. The cross-court set to Homer is dug nicely by the Lute back line. But Mary Magoon unable to put the ball back over the net for the Lutes, and it's a point to the Blues, leading now 14-3. Some good scrambling there by Whitman. Nice deep serve there from Gushina. That attack is dug by Bartok. The quick set to Thompson off the Lute wall, but they're able to recover. Oh, awkward ball. Good hustle by Thompson to keep the ball in play. She scrambles right back up for the block. What recovery. Wow, she scrambles, dives to the floor to keep that ball in play. Jumps back up, runs to the net, jumps for the massive block. Senior Lily Thompson, all the experience showing there, and it's another timeout for Coach Aoki as the Blues lead 15-3 here in the third set. You can visit www.whitmanblues.com for all up-to-date information on Whitman athletics, including current team schedules and student-athlete features. Follow Whitman Athletics on X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And the Blues volleyball players are back on the road next weekend for more Northwest Conference action. On Friday, the Blues will take on Pacific, and on Saturday, the Blues will take on Willamette. You can head over to www.whitmanblues.com for all the information you need about those games, including times and viewing options. Of course, those games should all be viewable here on Flow Sports. Looking at the stats through this part of the third set, it's 15-3. The Blues showing only 5 kills so far in this third set, but obviously for 15 points, we'll take that. Only a single kill so far through this point of the third set for PLU. Excellent job by the Whitman attack. No hitting errors yet for Whitman in the second set, so they're playing some clean volleyball. They're scrambling well, doing what they need to do to score those points as Gushina puts the ball back into play. That swing by Magoon sails long, and it is another point to Whitman. 16-3 now as Gushina will serve again. Another late timeout here or late substitution here. Audrey Hansma will sub in for the Lutes as Magoon will take a break. Hansma, a 5'10 sophomore out of Fort St. John, Canada. And she gets the flick over the Whitman wall, but it's handled by Belt. Big swing by Homer, rejected by the Lute wall. The right side there. Combination of Jordan Freer and Alexis Eggert defending that successfully for PLU. They claim a much-needed point, take the side out here, trailing by 12 as Eggert is back to serve for the Lutes. Sammy Homer with the big attack off the Lute wall. but the block sails out of bounds for the side out to Whitman. Double substitution again as Kendall Herman returns and Lexi Uchima. Uchima will be back to serve for the Blues. She drives it deep to the Lute back line. That cross-court attack is dug by Holmer, who gets the set back. She rolls the attack over the Lute wall. Whitman with a good chance to get a clean attack here, but that set goes a bit awry. Addie Belt scrambles to get the ball over and keep it in play. Whitman getting another free ball here. Belt to Ferraro, the quick set, tries to trick them, and it succeeds. Over the Lute defender, dropping in just behind that front line. The Lute's unable to control. Nice awareness there by Ferraro. Looked like the perfect opportunity to set up one of her attackers, and she caught everybody, including me, unawares. 18-4 as Uchima serves again. Pernsteiner with the big attack, the dig into the rafters, and Belt keeps the ball in play. Lutz now setting up Pernsteiner again, but her attack is into the net, and it is Whitman point. As Lexi Uchima is back to serve once more for the Blues now. Closing in on a serious blowout here in the third set, 19-4. Big swing by Pernsteiner there, but dug beautifully by Gushina. The Blues keep this point alive. Another big swing coming, Pernsteiner off the center blocker there. Kendall Herman with the nice defense. Belt dives to the floor to get that one. Sammy Holmer with a big swing, dug nicely by the Lute defense. Good extended point here for both teams. Herman's attack goes a bit wild, but it is ruled deflected. And that's Whitman point. Uchima will serve again. 20-4 now for the Blues. Drops that one short, just inside the front court. The set to Holmer. She gets a big swing on it. It's dug by Pio. That overpass is into the net, unable to be controlled by the Lutes, and it's 21-4 as Uchima's back to serve once more. The Blues have a lot to be thrilled about with their performance in this set. Pernsteiner lobs the attack over the Whitman wall. Gushina out of the back row. It hits the tape and flicks up and over the unaware Lute defender who's trying to spot the ball, and it's not where she expects it to be, and it's 22-4 now on Uchima's serve one more time. Deep, wide serve there for Uchima, fielded by the Lutes. She goes down to get the pass. Little miscommunication there between Herman and Ferraro. Lutes have an attacking chance here, but good block by the Whitman front line. Good dig there by Uchima. Holmer tries to put it in the open space, but it's fielded by the Lutes. Belt to Ferraro. Holmer with another big swing. And that point is to Whitman on Holmer's attack. 23-4 in the third set as Lexi is back to serve once more. She drives that ball deep again. The set out wide. There's a big attack from Audrey Hansma there on the left side. And the Lutes couldn't have needed that anymore, as we'll see a substitution. Haley Goto returning to the lineup for Bailey Johnson. The Lutes kind of reeling a little bit here as Jordan Freer, senior from Missoula, back to serve, trailing by 18 now, 23-5. Gushino, a slight miss pass, but fielded by Holmer. The Blues get that ball over, and it's not an easy one for the Lutes to control. The Blues have a chance here. The quick set from Ferraro to Herman, but the Lutes dig it out. Hansma, the deflection, Bartok to the floor to field it. Holmer gets a big swing on it, but the Lutes wall, combination of Goto and Pernsteiner, rejects that back into the Whitman court, and it's side out to, or point to the Lutes as Freer will serve again. 23-6 now. Freer drops a short serve. It's dug out by Belt. Oh my goodness, I don't think anybody expected a winner on that. She just had to get down and get that ball up and over. And boy, it fell to the floor. And that's match point for the Blues. 24-6 with Malia Ferraro back to serve for Whitman. Ferraro puts the ball in play. Little scramble here by the Lutes. They're not going to get us good. Oh, no. Okay, another unorthodox point scored there. Just keep the ball in play there by Pio, and it goes where the Blues aren't. And it's a side out back to the Lutes, trailing now 24-7. They fend off one match point. They have quite a few more to deal with as Coliato is back to serve for the Lutes. The Whitman crowd now on its feet, cheering on the Blues to this big third set margin. Holmer with the soft attack over the wall. Big swing by Pernsteiner, deflected off the Whitman wall, and it's a second match point fended off there by PLU. Herman unable to block that cleanly, and it deflects off and out of bounds. As Coliato serves again, Bartok. Little flick attack there from Belt. Pernsteiner, the little floater just over the combo of Belt and Herman. And it's a 3-point streak there for the Lutes on the serve of Coliato. She's back to serve again now. 24-9 is the margin. Still Whitman match point. Everyone is sudden death here for the Lutes. Big swing by Sammy Holmer with the cross-court attack from the right side, and it is down clean to the floor, and it's 25-9 in the third set. The Whitman Blues take this match from the third place PLU Lutes. That will bring both teams into a tie for third in the conference at 5-3. But Coach Helm has got to be happy with the way his team performed tonight. The straight set victory over the Lutes. The one opponent the teams, four Northwest Conference teams, they shared victories over. Both teams had beaten Lewis and Clark, George Fox, Willamette, and Pacific. The difference being that PLU had beaten Linfield, Linfield had beaten Whitman, but now we see that Whitman really did the job they needed to do tonight with a huge victory over the visiting PLU Lutes in straight sets, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-9. That's an exciting performance by the Blues here in the Sherwood Center tonight. We'll wait just a minute here to see if we get final statistics. And we can share those with you as soon as we have them. Just a reminder, the Blues volleyball team is on the road next weekend. On Friday, they play at Pacific, and on Saturday, they will play at Willamette. So go to whitmanblues.com to get more game information, including viewing times. And, of course, you can stream those games here on Flow Sports. Really excellent performance by the Blues tonight. Really balanced attacking statistics. Anxious to see the final numbers. But, boy, through that second set, really balanced. Lots of hitters getting in on the action for the Blues, with 6 players registering kills before all was said and done that second set. Really strong play in the early going, particularly by Gushina, who was putting a lot of balls away. Sammy Holmer, I think, got the better of the action there in that third set. Sammy really struggled a little bit last night in the match against UPS. Didn't see nearly as much playing time as we're accustomed to seeing her have. But she bounced back beautifully tonight, getting some really nice swings. Of course, on her serve, that first set, we saw the Blues stretch that lead early on with her serving those beautiful balls into play. But getting really nice attacking attempts there in that third set in particular. So it feels like the Northwest Conference volleyball, there's sort of a big division between the teams. We've got 4 teams really clustered at the top. Whitworth and Puget Sound now both sitting at 7-0. Those teams battling tonight. So we will see who comes out on top of that one. I don't have a score update for you, but I can see if that is available. And then now Whitman and PLU now tied at 5-3, tied for 3rd place in the conference. Then the standings drop down to Willamette, George Fox, Linfield, Willamette, George Fox, and Pacific. All right, we're not going to get final stats, unfortunately, so I don't have those 3rd set stats available to you, but I'm going to see if I can't find a score update here on the Whitworth UPS match at the top of the Northwest Conference. For those of you who are interested, in the 4th set, we have UPS has won 2 sets. UPS won sets 1 and 2. Whitworth won the 3rd set, and UPS is currently up 12-4 in the 3rd set. So UPS battling hard to take a road victory off the Whitworth Pirates up in Spokane tonight. All right, that will be it for us tonight here in Walla Walla. Thanks for joining us. Again, tune in next week for Blues versus Pacific on Friday and Blues versus Willamette on Saturday. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jay Kratoulis, and I look forward to talking to you on the next Whitman home game against, I believe it's the Whitworth Pirates, a week from next Tuesday. So thank you once again, and go Blues.